Well, how the heck are you? I hope things are good in your world today. We're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be figuring out how to deal with this weight thing. For me, my whole life, I've dealt with weight. I'm at an age that I really would like to lose some weight. I'd really like to peel some. But I had to come back here before I started the video and take a look at my barn. The wind has gotten it. Can you see it back there? Look at that, peeled up. My barn's not much. It's just a little junky. I might have to do some work. I got to lay that thing back down. Speaking of losing weight, I need to lose weight before I get on the roof of this thing. But that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about how you can lose weight, and I'm going to give you my journey. We're going to build a weight loss plan, and we're going to do this together. I don't know that anybody's ever done this, but this is going to be a cooperative effort where together you and I are going to discover a way that we can peel the weight that we need to get rid of. And I've got some interviews that I did a few months ago before I started on this journey. And we're going to be looking at those today. So stay tuned. It's going to be incredible. Circle. So hey, before we start this thing, I want to just preface this by saying that about 3 months ago, it came to my attention that a lot of the things that I really love to do, that I really enjoy, are done by a lot younger people. The type of hunting that I love to do, the type of activities I like to be involved with, the schedule that I keep, really are done by people that are younger than me. That's one. Number two, there's a certain level of fitness that goes along with the kind of stuff that I like to do. That's where my motivation came from. I don't have a motivation to run around without a shirt on. I don't want to try to get to that point. That's not an object of mine. I'm happily married, so I'm not looking for a date. I don't have a low self-esteem. I don't really think about self-esteem. My image in Christ is secure. But I'll tell you where I am, though. There's things I want to do with my life, and there's a certain level of activity. There's a certain level of experience in life that I want. And that's what drove me to this point. Here's my problem. Every time that I looked at a program to lose weight or a process or whatever, it was either so extreme, so immersive, that I just couldn't commit to it. One of the problems I have is that when I have friends that are really good at losing weight and staying fit, and they're committed to it, but it's almost their whole life. For me, my first and foremost mission is to know Jesus and make Him known. I'm on mission and on purpose, and I'm purposed for Him. So that's kind of where this started, was that I would look and I would go, I can't be that extreme. I can't be all about my body. I can't be all about the exercise. That's just one. I'm trading the extreme, overeating for an extreme exercise program. I couldn't do that. That's not where I'm coming from. The other thing is that there's a certain amount of commitment that I can give to it. I'm going to be committed fully, and we're going to talk about that. I'm going to be committed fully, but fully committed doesn't mean that it becomes my God. I'm not going to worship exercise and weight loss and all of that. I want a certain level of health. That's what I want. I don't want something that's so extreme that I won't keep up with it. I don't want to start something that I can't maintain for mostly the rest of my life. And so that's what some of the prerequisites. But before I got to, could get to a plan, and I don't have that plan completely finished yet, but I will tell you some of the milestones I've crossed, is that I have come to realize that it's a process of really examining yourself. It's a process of examining, things that will work for you. And there's a certain level of commitment that you have to have. And the first person that I interviewed is a guy named Nathan Kirby. He's known as Coach Kirby, and he's a motivational speaker. He's a mixed martial arts coach. He owns his own MMA gym, Rock City MMA. He and his wife are phenomenal people, good friends of mine for a long time, and he's just really good at kind of getting to the point of helping you understand what's going on inside of you while you're trying to make a commitment like this. What's wrong with Scott that Scott can't stick to this commitment? What's funny is I can be disciplined in other areas of my life, but this area of my life I really have struggled with. Nathan's not the only person I'm going to interview. He's the person we're interviewing today, and I'm going to use clips from that, and I'm going to kind of walk you through it and talk you through it. And we're going to build a program. This program is not going to be for sale. I'm not trying to become a weight loss guru. I'm going to share with you what I had a chance to learn that I feel like isn't too extreme. I think it's something that really works. So far, it's worked for me. From the time that I did the first interview, at the first interview, I weighed 293. That's 293 pounds, okay? 293 pounds is what I weighed. As of today, I weigh 259 pounds, 0.8. 0.8. I'm in the 250s though, 0.8, all right? And so that's the weight that I've lost since I started this journey. It's been something that I can do. I've got a particular plan that I'm using right this minute, but every so often it's evolving. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to track this process of what I'm doing, and I wanted to share it with you. You could apply it. Everything that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to make available. Again, as always with every video that I do, there will be a PDF with all the notes and information in it in the description of this video. You're welcome to it. It's free. Take it. Use it as your own. We won't have the complete plan this first video, but I'm going to show you the first steps that entered me into a process that is working. I don't want to say it has worked. I'm a work in progress, and this plan is evolving. And here's what I want. I would love for you to give me some comments, feedback, thoughts you have. If there's fitness coaches out there, or if you found a lifestyle of working out or something that's worked for you, I'd love for you to share that in the comments. And as always, follow this channel. I'm going to keep adding these videos. And I'd love for you to, be a part of this process. But I want to jump into this interview with Nathan, and I want you to kind of, I want you to kind of get a grip on kind of what we're talking about. So check this out with me. I think that's looking pretty good. Here's what I want to do. I just want to. No. So, how you feeling? This is gonna be so good.
I miss you so much.
So let me say this first scene, we're actually at Rock City MMA. This is Nathan's gym. Really an incredible place. Nathan and his wife Tiffany have built an amazing gym.
Whatever your concept or whatever your description or definition of what an utter failure is still somebody else's inspiration. Just so you know that there's going to be somebody, no matter if you stand on a stage at a bodybuilding competition when this is over with, right? Whatever level you get to or whatever you want to do with this, or whether you drop a pant size and realize I should have been vegan my whole life. What am I missing?
That's good.
Whatever you do, just so you know, with your influence, you're going to inspire somebody. There's going to be somebody going to touch on this story. So I'm just saying, take the pressure off that there has to be a certain weight, a certain size,
Sure. That's good.
a certain anything. There's no expectations that you have, because you and I both know that God's plan is a lot bigger than ours, and all we can do is kind of go through this with Him, be faithful. So no matter what happens with you, you're gonna move mountains with this.
I need to hear that. That was a good word right there, just like that. What a great clip. So taking the pressure off, how important that is. This next clip, Nathan walks into something that I think is really, really good. I know for me, anytime I've ever talked about or thought about trying to lose weight, I just kind of want to know the program. How do I count the calories? How do I, do the exercise? How far am I supposed to run? And all those nuts and bolts. But Nathan dug into some stuff in this interview that has radically helped me begin to think about it. They're biblical truths. It starts with a self-assessment, an inventory. And Nathan's going to talk to us in this next point. One of the things he brings up is he says that there's something in the background, something is operating in our life that's keeping us where we are. There's something, whether it's a hurt that we're trying to soothe, whether it's a need that we're trying to meet, or there's something that's absent in our life that what we're trying to do, for those of us who overeat, for those of us who don't take care of ourselves physically, what we're doing is there's something there that doesn't need to be there. And he kind of hits on that. So watch this point and listen to what he says about that, because one of the things that I've had to ask as I go along through this journey, and again, I'm a few months into it now, is that I've had to ask, what need am I trying to meet here? What is this meal or this food or what I'm eating? What is it? What am I trying to fulfill in me? What's maybe I feel like's missing, or what does it soothe? What does it make me feel better about? And those things are important. For me, it didn't necessarily go back to my childhood, but for me, I find myself that food, and And I'll talk about that in a minute. I'll just kind of tell you about that in a minute. But listen to what Nathan had to say about this, and this is really, really good.
Scott, you had said something about you physically.
Yep.
And you said you keep revolving around this, just so you know that we all carry a baggage with us. So there is going to be something that, and you may not find it today or discover it today, but I'm just planting a seed for you now. You're going to realize that there is an emotional baggage that you're carrying with you
good.
to keep you in this same routine. And you haven't realized it, but something's going to change. And when it does, I want you to call me and just say, hey, I realized what it was. I remember it. I was 12 years old and my mom said, and I remember my first girlfriend, not Stacy. I remember, whatever it is, there's going to be something to trigger, and you will be in a place that you'll be able to receive it, and you'll be able to actually eat it, download it, chew it.
That's good.
So I'm putting that out there now, just hopefully, and it may not happen today, and I don't have to be the one to discover it. This is something, as a coach, what I found, and this, I want you guys to hear this as well. There are some things that I can tell you, and there are times that you will have to have a hard truth. But the biggest impact, Scott, is going to be when you actually find it yourself, and those reasons and the answers you have sought after that you find, you seek and you find. I mean, how many times it tells us that in the Bible?
It does.
You seek, knock, ask, neek, sock. Knock and seek.
I would like that. Is that a different language? Dude, this thing has
I'm all
expanded.
over it,
As
yeah.
COVID's got you got a whole nother language.
I know. It boils down to the C word, and that is commitment. And so I can say this because this is one of those things that you had talked about, and maybe it was when we were off camera earlier, and you were talking about what attracts people to somebody's story is when somebody gets off of drugs, when somebody changes their life. Have you seen that video going around where this guy, he was very overweight, he was unhealthy, I think he was on crutches, and he started doing yoga, and they watched this, and it was 20, 30 million views because people want to live through this, and they want to know those stories.
And I was eating a bag of popcorn while I was watching it.
And that's the place you were in, and that's okay. That's okay, but you remembered it.
I did.
But it all boils down to this. My own sister is in 30 days from now is going to be at her 1 year sobriety, 1 year. And she texted me today, and she said, and that's about the time that my son's about to fight in Oklahoma. And that's how awesome would it be to celebrate 1 year. And she says, I'd never be able to do this without you. I'm going to cry.
That's so good.
I don't want to cry. I'm not a sissy.
Do
I'm not
it?
a sissy.
Yes, he is.
She said, because I don't drink, I made a decision. I made a decision when I accepted Christ that I was never going to drink again. Wow. I made a simple decision. And so when I go back to this, I can say the number one, if we can just leave it at that today, however deep you want to get, but I can tell you the number one thing it all comes down to is you have to make a decision. Right. And you have to commit to it. And it has to be a hell or high water. It has to be, I don't care. I have heard so many excuses right now because of COVID and because of Corona, and everybody has allowed this to manipulate them and dictate what they're going to do or what their life is like.
You're right.
Instead of, I cannot stand wearing a mask, but my gym will not allow me in there without a mask on. And so I will sacrifice. And you know what? I'm in there. There's hardly anybody in there, but I'm in there. I miss it. I miss the gym because I made a commitment to it 20 years ago. And I made a commitment to, this is how I made a commitment to training martial arts. I made a commitment to others that it is me. It is who I am now. So if I could say this to anybody else listening, and Scott, we can, deviate off of this and you can get in.
I think we're tapping on.
Right.
I mean, I felt it in my spirit just as soon as we walked in, I was like, you were on it. We're on it. Keep going.
Yeah. Okay. I talk to people, and there's some ways that I can help you with this. We talk about setting goals, and you can set SMART goals, and there's all these other things, and I can help you break that down in maybe another video. Because if you could break it into pieces, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Okay, but
did you use the elephant illustration on purpose or no?
No, I did not. I did not. I did not use that at all. I think you're a little sensitive on this.
Maybe
you're all up in your feelings. But the thing is you already made that decision to eat the elephant to begin with.
That's right.
To begin with.
That's right.
And you're going to sit down and do it. So you think about the accomplishments that have happened, and it's all because you have made this one big, bad, bold, hairy, audacious goal, right? You've heard that before. And setting these goals for us is different because you never You never said, I'm going to lose
Yeah.
and I want to weigh.
Yeah.
I'm going to wear a size. And if you guys need to do that, that's fine. I'm not an advocate of that either. There's a healthy place that you need to be, and everybody's body is different. Everybody's needs and goals are different.
That's good.
You said you came from a healthy standpoint, and you want to be healthy. Your
Yeah.
mindset is being healthy. And how do you become healthy? It is, of course, what you're going to eat. It, of course, is how you exercise and how you train. None of that is going to matter. You'll never be able to push the plate away. You'll never be able to say no to this, because there's something inside of you. And I'll go back to, there's some baggage that we brought, that it's in your mind, it's okay for you to do this. In your mind, you've already judged others for judging you for doing this, and you're going to do it anyway. Well, I've earned this. I mean, there's so many crazy things that we say to ourselves to beat around this, and we just, how many times we need to revolve around this mountain?
That's good. Have you been talking to my wife? Or was that,
No,
was this just
I
coming?
haven't. Is that what she said?
Well, yeah, I'm just
Okay.
just curious.
How many times I got to tell you, Scott? Okay? Until you're going to figure this out for yourself.
Did you hear that? So here's what happened. Here's what I heard, and this is what I heard months ago, and this was, listen to me, y'all. This was the trigger for change for me. Nathan said something, and he was meddling a little bit, but here's what he said. Nathan said, you have already justified not being committed. You've already in your mind given yourself a loophole, an out. And the first thing he tells us in that clip, and the first thing that we were speaking of, is he said, the number one thing you've got to do is you have to make a commitment, and you have to make a decision. And that decision is this: I'm not going to go back to what I was. Now, that decision doesn't mean I'm not going to make mistakes. I'm not going to slip up. That's not the decision that's being made here. This decision is, I am committed to the journey, even though maybe along the way I get a little off path. I'm going to be committed to that journey. And I'm going to set hard boundaries. And for me, this was the biggest thing. I have most of my life struggled with trying to lose weight. And I've committed it to the Lord. I've prayed about it. And in the end, I believe that God wants me to have this struggle, because this struggle, as it may feel like to me, one of the biggest struggles of my life, this struggle is atypical of any struggle that I'm going to deal with. And I believe that as God teaches me and invests in me and empowers me to overcome this, I think it helps me overcome anything that I might allow to be a stronghold in my life. And that's what this is. And the same could be true. It could be said about alcohol for some of you. It could be said about pornography. It could be said about, you could list an endless number of things: worry, anxiety, gossip, whatever. For me, it's food. And so Nathan hit the nail on the head, and I believe this is the number one. In fact, I'm going to tape these on the wall, and we're going to have like this really messy sort of components that are coming together to help us understand how we're going to, conquer this weight thing or whatever it is that has a hold of us. And I'm going to put these together, and I'm going to build one. I may have one of our more artsy people draw us out something kind of graphic that kind of shows us the main tenets of what we're going to be doing to try to break the chains of this weight loss. But I'm telling you, first thing, it is commitment. And I put in here, make the decision. What is the decision? The decision is that I'm not going to stay here anymore. I'm not going to let myself lapse, and I'm not going to justify it. I'm not going to fight against other people who might have pointed things out at me that needed to change. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to look at this and go, I'm committed to this. I'm committed to the long haul. Hugely important. I'm committed. And this is not going to stay the same. And you're going to do the same. Now, for some of you, I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear you tell me about how you sustain commitments. What does commitment look like for you? What are you committed to? Maybe in the comments you just say, hey, look, I'm committed to this journey as well. We're going to travel together. You're going to get to follow me. I've had some success already. Y'all, I really have. Now, we haven't even gotten into the program yet of what we're really trying to do, but honestly, the biggest step for me, and probably the largest step in this whole process, is what Nathan just talked about, and that is that step of commitment, the decision. I've got to make the decision. Because otherwise, what he said was so true. If I don't make the decision, then there's not going to be, any program or any process or any system that's going to cause me to push away the food or step up and do the walking or exercising or lift the weights. Commitment is what's going to be needed there. So that's what we're going to be looking at, and that's what we're going to be looking at for the next just a little bit, and we're going to be working on that. So it's really a big deal. The decision. You got to make the decision. That's huge.
When you have that decision made, and I know you haven't done that, because right when we first started, you said, I don't know if I'm going to be a success or am I going to be absolute huge failure. And that means you've already given yourself
An out.
Well,
good.
I tried.
That's
for
good.
what, 6 days, 6
good.
weeks, 6 months? I think on this for you, I think this is where you're going to have to sit down. I know you're going to do videos and keep this track of you, but you're going to have some hard conversations with them after you've had them with yourself and realize, I just gave myself another out. No, you know what? This is it.
Good. So many takeaways in that last clip. I love Nathan. He's a good friend of mine. You can find Coach Kirby Speaks. I've got in the description, I've got the links to his social media accounts where you can follow him and keep up with what he's got going on. He is, like I say, he owns Rock City MMA, which is an incredible family. MMA family. I trained MMA, believe it or not, a number of years ago with Coach Kirby, and it was something else. It was great. So I want to leave you with this. This is our first look. I have a number of interviews that I want to walk you through. I feel like today that we kind of got to the crux of the main thing, and that's that commitment, that decision. That decision fortifies us through failures. I want to remind you, the Bible tells us if any person be in Christ, they are a new creation. And what that new creation means is that you don't have to be what you once were. And I believe that includes every aspect of our life. I believe that God has profoundly made it clear that you and I, through Christ, can be something different. That includes our diet, that can include exercise, that can include every aspect of our life. We can bring it to the altar of Jesus, and for the glory of God, we can walk into a healthy lifestyle. And that's what we're going to do together. As I've already told you, I've seen some success. I'm going to get deeper into the actual program as we go through these videos. It's going to be multiple videos. I'm going to encourage you, for those of you who are trying to rush into this and going, man, I just want to know the program. I just want to know, where's the program at? We're not going to do that. We're going to take our time and walk through these, because right now the psychology that's behind the program is more important than what program. If I tell you what to do, chances are you kind of know that if you eat less and you exercise more, you're going to lose weight. That's no mystery. That's not like today you're going, oh, I didn't know. That's not, you're looking for a secret thing where they staple your earlobe to your head and it's going to work out. It doesn't work like that. You and I are in the situations that we're in, whether it's an area of our life of addiction or any kind of habit or hang up that's holding us captive. We're not there necessarily, or most of the time, should I say, because of a lack of knowledge. Most of the time we're there because there's some psychology behind it, and it's going to take us a little time to root that up. If we spend the next couple of few weeks inventorying and building ourselves into a lifestyle that lasts a lifetime, it's the best thing going. And I think one of the biggest problems that we have, and one of the reasons why I'm overweight, and one of the reasons why I eat like I do, and one of the reasons I'm not taking care of myself like I do, is because I want instant gratification. So I want to know the program right now, and I'm going to start the program right now, and that program better deliver right now. And when it doesn't, I go back to what I've always gone back to. I want to feel good about myself right now, or I want to be fulfilled right now, so I'm going to get a plate of food. So these are all things we have to work through. So this is going to be a process. I'm not going to be in a rush. So I'm going to encourage you to beat back that impulsive side and say, look, we're going to stick to the end on this thing. It's going to be a big deal. It's going to be good. And I promise you, I believe together it's going to work. And I want to hear stories, man. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear your stories about, as you inventory your life, some things that are coming out of it. I'd really, really, really love to have that. You can follow me on Facebook. You can also follow me on Instagram. And you can converse with me there. I try to get back with people as quickly as I possibly can. You can leave comments here. I really love comments here on the YouTube channel. Follow us, share the videos. And anyway, God bless you. I pray that together you and I are going to find an incredible discovery for a brand new, cool, exciting life that maybe you haven't been able to live before. So anyway, till next time, God bless you.